is in your circle. Hey there, brand builders. Liz Nolly Tillman here, and welcome to my secret sauce, where I share tips, tricks, and success strategies designed to help you build your brand, be yourself, and win in business. Hey everybody, Liz here once again with another episode of my secret sauce. And today's question is, who is in your circle? This is a key question to consider if you want to be successful at anything, okay? Why? Because the people we surround ourselves with, the people whose energy we feed off of, determines our altitude. Les Brown famously said, your attitude determines your altitude. So whose energy are you feeding from to determine your attitude and therefore your altitude? Who is showing you the pathway to success? Who are you vibing with to elevate yourself to where you want to go in life? Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player to ever play the game, achieved a tremendous amount of basketball success as an individual. However, until he surrounded himself with the right coach and the right teammates, he found Scottie Pippen, he found Phil Jackson, that's when they were able to win multiple championships, solidifying himself unequivocally in the greatest of all time debate when it comes to the game of basketball. So who's Pippen to your Jordan? Who's your Phil Jackson? We all need that person or those people in our lives. So today, what I want to do very quickly is to give you 5 types of people who need to be in your circle in order for you to achieve whatever definition of success that you're looking for. So the first group is the group of people who love you unconditionally. These are people who love you in spite of who you are, because of who you are, and are always there to catch you when you fall, to give you that safe emotional space to be imperfect. They come with love and acceptance. For me, that's my mom, it's my dad, rest in peace, when he was alive. These are my family members. My grandma I would put in that category. I'd even put Django and Hildy, our pets, in that category because they give you that unconditional love. They're always happy to see you, always, no matter what, no judgments. It's just all about love and support. So who's in that group of people in your life? You need that person because life is going to throw you curveballs. Life is going to challenge you. Life is going to bless you. Life is going to lift you up and take you through all the highs, but it's also going to bring you through some lows. And you need people who are going to love you in spite of, because of, and through it all. So that's the first group of people that you need in your life, are people who love you unconditionally, no matter what. Second group of people. These are people who love you, but they love you enough to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. These are the truth sayers in your life. These are the people who always tell you what you need to hear versus what you want to hear. You might not like what they say. You may get mad and be like, man, forget you. But once you cool off and those emotions go out of the way, you're like, man, so-and-so was right. You know what? So-and-so is always going to tell me the truth, and I love them for that. You need people in your life. My husband is that guy for friends of his that he's had for 30 plus years. And if you know him at all, if you've ever met him, he will tell you the truth no matter what. Whether you want to hear it or not, he's always going to tell you the truth. You need the truth sayers in your life. And these could be family who are like friends, or friends who are like family, because they are going to know all of your secrets. They know where all the bodies are buried. They may have helped you put a few away, right? They may know, they know all the bones that may be skeletons in your closet, and they love you anyway, but they're always there to tell you, you know what? I don't think you should do it, but I'm gonna ride with you if you do. and I got your back no matter what. If you rise, you fall. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to hear versus what you want to hear. So you need the truth sayers, people who love you enough to tell you the truth in your life. That's the second group of people. Let's move on. The third group of people that you need in your life to be successful in anything are people with whom you share interests and passions. These could be people you went to college with. These could be people in your sewing circle. For me, it's people in my sorority. We share passions and interests together. They're the women that I serve with on the Women's Commission here in my town. They're the people who I get to meet and hang out with during election season every year when I serve as a poll worker. These are people who share my interests and passions, people that lift me up because we're into the same thing and we are vibing on the same thing. We learn from each other, we strategize together, we push each other to make advancements and progress, or even work together to make a difference because we're all working towards the same thing. We all come from different walks of life, but because of a shared interest or a shared passion, it elevates, working together elevates all of us and gets us closer to whatever that passion or interest is calling us to do. That's the third group. The fourth group of people. You need people in your life who make you better. Period. Full stop. These are people who push you and inspire you to be a better version of yourself. This group is kind of hard to identify. Now, some of these people may be in one of the three other groups, but these could be colleagues and coworkers. This could be your Scottie Pippen at work to your Michael Jordan, right? It could also be your manager. Maybe there's a manager, a coach, or a mentor, or even a sponsor that you've worked with or worked for who's Phil Jackson to your Michael Jordan, right? Who you learn from, who's mentoring and guiding you or creating opportunities for you to grow and flourish and expand your talents and expand your contributions inside the organization. So you need people in your life at all levels, whether it's as a colleague, a coach, or a player who's right there in the trenches with you, who are going to push you to become and be the best version of yourself. For many of us in business, we actually hire coaches or business mentors or coaches to help us advance along in our journeys, right? Because we want that accountability, but we also want to learn from people who are in the fifth and final group that I want to talk about. And that is people who have walked where you want to walk. These are people who have done it, right? They have achieved the things that you want to achieve. They have been where you want to go, or maybe they're already there. And the other thing about these people is that they are willing to reach back, pull back the curtain, and show you the way. I know several people in my life who have achieved things that I wanted to achieve before I achieved them and weren't really trying to help a sister out. We're trying to share a resource, share an insight, share a connection, anything. You don't need those people in your life. You can use them for inspiration, but that's it. I'm talking about in your circle. People in your circle are people that you interact with or have some sort of a personal relationship with. What I'm talking about are people who have done the things you want to do and aren't afraid to show you how to do them. All right, let me give you some examples. You guys all know that I am in the process of writing my second book. Before I ever put words on the page the first time, I joined a community of authors who I learned from, got inspiration from, who helped to show me the way. These were authors who had self-published before or had been published through traditional means and things like that, who were willing to teach me and show me the ropes, right? But today, in the interest of working smarter and not harder, I now have in my circle some amazing author friends. And among them, let me share a few of them with you. First, there's Dr. John E. Gray. This is his first book. He actually just released his second book. His first book, Quitting Was Not an Option. This volume, he actually published this after I published my book, but he's still an inspiration to me because now he has already published his second book, and he and I constantly are sharing ideas and exchanging things, and he's opening doors for me for speaking opportunities and things like that. When I can, I share resources and ideas with him. So he's in my circle. Let me give you another author friend of mine, Dr. Angie Gray. This is her brand spanking new book. Highly recommended. It's a faith-based, from a Christian perspective, around guiding principles for claiming your purpose. This is the other Dr. Gray in my life. She's in my circle. We're actually in a mastermind group together where we learn from each other, we inspire each other, and we support each other. Here's another author friend of mine. This is Dr. Liz Henry. She, like Dr. Gray, is a sorority sister of mine. She just published her very first book. What I love about this book, well, first, it's an amazing book. So if you know of any new parents or insecure parents, or you're just a parent trying to figure it all out, pick it up. But what I love about Dr. Henry's book, and what I love about Dr. Henry, and why I had to share this story with you, when I published my first book, she called me and she said, well, how did you do it? How did you do it this way? Did you do it that way? And we talked a lot about the process, and I told her what I learned, what I would do again, what I wouldn't do again, and everything. And we had this whole conversation. Fast forward to this year, this is 4 years later, Dr. Henry published her first book. And as you could see, it looks amazing. It's a great book. And I was like, man, how did she do it? Because I see her being picked up, she's being interviewed on national news outlets, she's on blogs, she's on podcasts, and she's done just an amazing job with her book launch. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, Dr. Liz, how did you go about publishing your book? Because I'm trying to work smarter, not harder. And in 4 years, a lot can change in the world, right? So even though I had published a book before, I wasn't arrogant enough to think that I knew everything about how to publish a book. So I was like, you know what? Here's somebody who just did it. Let me go ahead and see if, I can learn anything from her. And Dr. Liz very generously shared her publishing journey with me, shared some contacts and some resources and things like that. And I will be forever grateful for her, because now I'm working smarter, not harder, to get my second book done. Let's move on. There's another book written by another soror friend of mine, sorority sister friend of mine, Adrienne Blair Wise, Wise Women Pray. Now, this book was a gift. This book was a true gift and a true blessing. Adrienne and I worked on an international event together for our sorority, and she's a reverend, she's a pastor, spiritual leader, and it was our International Day of Prayer service, and I did like some of the technology and the branding and stuff like that, behind the scenes work, and she sent me a copy of her book to say thank you for supporting her, because she was chairing this event for our region. When I looked inside, this book is amazing, and this book has inspired me. She doesn't even know this. So, sorry, Adrienne, if you're watching, know this. When I was writing and conceiving my second book, which hasn't come out yet, I looked at this and I was like, wow, this book showed up at the right time. Not only is it an amazing 31 day of prayer to fortify your faith journey for its readers, but the format of this book inspired me to structure the format of my second book, which is a purpose-driven journey. It's a 30-day purpose journey of discovery, and I was struggling until I got Adrienne's book. I was really struggling inside my own head, how to organize it, how to write it, how to, I couldn't see it. And boom, Adrienne's gift to me was this volume to say thank you for helping her. But little did she know, she helped me because it helped me seeing what she had done got me unstuck in my own book writing journey. So pick up her book, Wise Women Pray. And last but certainly not least is this book written by another sorority sister of mine, Shakitha or Kiki Jeffries. And it's a budget planner. It's amazing. It's called Build Your Empire, and it's an amazing budget planner. And it's one of her first published works. She's got just an amazing set of journals and gifts and books and stuff like that. So I had to pick it up, and it's just a great resource, and it inspires me every day to see what Kiki has put out there in the world and what she continues to create. So this is just a few of the people who are in my circles, and as you could probably tell, they are in several circles. Some of them are in multiple circles. Some of them are friends who are like family to me. Some of them are sorority sisters with whom I share various interests and passions relative to our sorority. But they are all people who have walked or are walking where I want to walk as an author in this particular case. So I challenge you, think about who's in your circle. Not everybody deserves a spot to be there, right? And the more you go towards the closer you get to your innermost circle, you have to be super selective with who gets a seat. All right, so that's my time for today. But before I go, let me just say this. Tomorrow, I am going to go live on Facebook for a few minutes to unveil the title selection for my book. So please, please, please tune in. And if you miss it, that's okay. I'll leave the live up and you can find out. But it's just my way of thanking everybody who gave me feedback. I heard from over 100 people in terms of 2 rounds of feedback in terms of polishing and whittling and tweaking my title and everything like that. So every comment, every response to the questions that I put up on Facebook was very carefully considered, and I'm really excited to tell you how it turned out and where I landed. So tune in. And with that, I want to thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. And if you like this episode and you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook, please follow me. And if you do nothing else, head on over to liznollytillman.com and look in my freebie section for my brand new Find Your Purpose Action Planner. I just released this, and it's my step-by-step roadmap to identifying and articulating your purpose so you always know what your true north is, and so you can live the life that you were meant to live. It's free. It's an instant download, and you can get it right now. Head over to liznollytillman.com, check out the freebies section, and you'll see the first item there is your Find Your Purpose Action Planner. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.